Hey guys, it's Yvette, and I am back with week 2 of the mini series Sew Along that Alison Glass and Giucy Giuce are having. So the second week is the courthouse step, as you can see here. And if you haven't already signed up as a participant, please go ahead and head over to alisonglass.com and register. There are lots of reasons why you should register. There are prizes that they're giving along the way. If you finish the whole series and make something with your blocks, they are going to send everyone a finisher's pin. But if you're not registered, you're not eligible to get that. So, and they also send emails. So every week you'll get an email with a lot of different discounts from their sponsors. So that's another reason to sign up. And okay, so let's just get started. I am using this perfect piecing foundation sheets for my block this week. I said that I was going to do that. I've got like teeth rolls in my ring here. Anyway, so I have never used this paper before, guys. And just now when I went to make the copy, the only thing I can say is, like I put in, because I'm going to do a couple of them since I'm also trying to sort of do a set with Canning Day. Because I'm doing a set with Canning Day, but the one that I'm doing with you guys is the Alison Glass Sunprint 2019. And so I was making 2 copies, and when I went to make the copies, like, it sucked both the sheets up, and, you know, I have an inkjet, so mine is not like a laser printer or anything like that. But anyways, so we are going to give this a go. And you'll find out, I'm sure, along the way as I'm making these, how I feel about this foundation paper. So, and this is, again, it's the June Taylor Perfect Piecing Foundation Sheets. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be using. And let's just get started. So I think what I'm going to do, let's see, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8, but I think I want to have the 10 again, like I had before. Okay, so the way that you look at this is actually like this, because we have the 1, and then we have 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Okay, so I see what they're doing. So if I'm looking at it like this, because it's doing the same thing where they're putting, they have the 3 in the middle going horizontally instead of vertically. Wait, whatever. They're going this way. I can't think right now, guys. I have got so much going on. You have no idea. Okay, so I'm going to put it this way, and I know I want to have the 10 colors that I used the last time. I'll make sure there's 10. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to go out to number 21, and I'm going to mark that. I wish I had like a, all of these are friction pins. Well, this is but except that this one's black, so I'm hoping I can tell. All right, so I'm going to go to here, and that means that I'm going to go, I'm just marking right here so that I know when I am doing my blocks that I know where to stop. Let's see. Do I want to do, is it there or is it here? I think... Yep, I think actually it's here. It's here. Okay, so this is the one I want. I'm going to put an X there. And because I don't want to go all the way to the end, I just want to go to here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Going to 21, so I'm going to go to there. And then this is my corner. And this is my corner. You want to make sure you do all your markings before you even start. That way, there's no confusion about where things are going. Okay, so I know that for me, because I'm not putting a white in the middle, I'm putting the background in the middle. So I'm going to have background, background, background. But I'm going to still do it in 3 pieces, just like they did. So I'm not going to mark it on those just because it's so small. But I'm going to put a B on all of the ones that are going to have background. And if you want to keep your B right by the number, you can go ahead and do that too. It doesn't matter, wherever you're most comfortable. Okay, and then also on this side. And then the top and the bottom are going to be my colors. And I'm going in order for that, in the same order that I had for Log Cabin. So I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, and now we want to make sure that we have a 1/4 inch at least seam allowance beyond our last color. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it like a good 1/2 inch beyond. Just gives me extra to work with. That's all it does, because anything can be trimmed off, but if you don't have enough, that's a different story. So I'm just gonna put it like a 1/2 inch more. Okay, there's my end there. Wow, this is very thin. I'm telling you, the jury's out. Jury's out. I'm gonna have to. I'm so used to copy paper. Not that there's anything wrong with using this, because lots of people like it, and so I definitely wanted to give it a go. We're gonna have to see how it goes. I have a feeling I like it though, because the way it feels right now, and it does say that it tears away easier, so we'll have to see how that works. Okay, so now I can take these pieces and put them away, and we are ready to start. So my number 1 and then both of my number 2s are going to be background, and I am using this gray color, or silver. I like to call it silver. I think it's really pretty. I already have some cut, so let me get some pieces cut. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut like a big square, and then I'm going to cut this down into like 3 pieces, and that should be fine. Okay. So again, what we're going to do, especially, you know what, this is like such thinner paper as well that you'll be able to see. And we do have the light box. How does this go through that? Oh my gosh, this is so thin that it went through the paper onto my cutting mat. Well, I didn't know that was going to happen either. All right, well, if you haven't used it before, now you know. It'll do that to your cutting mat. Okay, so I'm going to put this piece on the back, covering up number 1, and it definitely is covering up number 1. And then I'm going to turn it so that my number 2, or at least the first one, is to the top. And I'm going to hold my piece. You would be holding it pretty side to you, but it's a solid color, so you don't have to worry. And then I'm just going to make sure it's at least 1/8 of an inch higher than the line I'm going to sew right under the number 2. And it definitely is. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to sew this line right under number 2. Okay, so I am sewing this line right under number 2. It's a small line, so no big deal. And you can use your manual needle dropper. I have to figure out what the term for this is. And make sure that the point is going to go down directly into the spot where you want it. Okay, once it is, you just drop your foot, drop the needle, and you can start. Oops, I need to change my stitch length. Now I have a feeling we don't have to go as low on this one because it's a different paper and it's supposed to tear away really easily, but I always go 1.4, so I'm going to change mine to 1.4. If you're new and you're still having to use the seam ripper a bit, then you might want to leave it up at like 1.8, okay? All right, so here we go. I'm going to do a back stitch. Another back stitch. And we have just sewed that little baby line there. And I left my scissors. This is why I need to have like, you'd think I have like enough scissors. I've got like so many scissors, but for some reason they're never where I'm sewing. I have no idea why. I'm sure you guys all have this same problem. Okay, so I have just stitched this little line under the 2. We're going to turn that to the right, and the reason I'm turning it to the right is because I'm right-handed. That's what I'm going to use my rotary cutter with. So if you're left-handed, you turn it the other way to cut like this, okay? So you're just going to fold over the paper right on the line that you just sewed. And if you just kind of keep it like, you know, even, then you know that it's even. Because it's such a small little piece right there that it's going to go wonky if you just let it do what it wants to do. Okay. And then you're going to take your add an 1/8 ruler, which I have no idea what I did with it. Okay, here it is. And then you're going to trim off the excess. And again, this little ruler has a lip inside, and it's going to butt right up against the seam that you just sewed, and that's how you get that 1/8 of an inch cut. Okay. And then you're going to take your pressing mat, and I probably won't show all the pressing all the time because I ended up warping my cutting mat, and I need to figure out another setup. So until I do, I'm probably going to just be doing a lot of the pressing over to the side, but basically it's all the same. You just press it back from where you just sewed. Okay, that's basically all you're doing. And now we're going to take we're going to flip it over, and this is the other number 2 that we're going to be doing. And we're going to take our piece that we cut, and we're going to put it on the back, and we just want to make sure that it's at least 1/8 of an inch above the line that we're going to sew. And you can see that right there, and it's definitely well above. So if you just hold it up to the light, you can definitely see. I mean, especially this paper is like so thin. If you have like the sun or just a light above, you know, on the ceiling, that's fine. It'll really work. So now I'm just going to go over and stitch this line under number 2. The other number 2. Okay, so now I am going to stitch this little line right under the other number 2, which is right on the other side. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, you want to manually lower your needle and make sure that it's going down exactly where you want it. Do a back stitch. And again. Okay, so this is the second stitch that I've done under the number 2. This was the first one, and here's the second one. So I'm going to turn that to the right, flip it over on the line that you just stitched, and you're going to put your ruler up against the lip there and trim. Okay, so I'm going to go give this a quick press. Okay, So now that's what it's going to look like after you do a press. It ain't pretty yet, that's for sure. Now we're going to turn it over, and our two number 3 pieces are going to be our first colors. So I'm going to cut some fabric for that. Okay. And I'm going to take the first piece, I'm going to hold it pretty side to me, and I'm going to slip it to the back, and I always put my fingers right up on the top, because also if I see where my fingers are, that helps me to see that I am holding it at least 1/8 of an inch above the line I'm going to sew. And I'm going to be sewing that line right under the number 3. So it's just kind of awkward right now because I'm so much in the middle. So I'm gonna hold it there, and then I'm gonna look. Nope, that's totally wrong. I gotta go higher. I definitely need to go higher. And just for a good measure, because I got a good piece, I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I can just trim off some extra. Okay, so my piece is basically right above the line under the 5, so we should be good. And I'm gonna go over and sew this line under the 3. Okay, so this line under the number 3 is the line that I am going to sew to add the next row. Okay, this is the line I just stitched, so I'm going to turn it to the right. And I'm going to fold down my paper. Put my add 1/8 ruler right on the seam. And then trim. Okay, and now I'm going to go press. Okay, so here we are. We've just pressed it. We're going to flip it over, and this is the 3 we just sewed under, and now we're going to sew under this number 3. So I'm going to take my fabric, right sides to me, pretty side to me. I'm going to put it to the back, and I want to make sure that it's at least 1/8 an inch above where I'm going to sew. Okay, now I am going to be sewing this line under the 3, and you can see that the fabric is well above that. So I'm going to take it over and sew that now. Okay, so now I'm going to sew the line that is under this number 3 right here. Okay, so now I'm going to take the number 3, turn it to the right. If you guys are hearing that buzzing outside, that's my husband sanding. I guarantee you he will be sanding for hours. Okay, so now I'm going to take it over and press it. Okay, so I have both sides pressed. I'm going to flip this over, and now we're going to do the number 4s, and that is going to be background. So I'm going to cut a couple of these pieces. And I'm going to take the first one, put it to the back and hold it up and make sure that I'm at least 1/8 of an inch above where I'm going to sew. And I definitely am. And as you get further out, it's going to be easier to tell exactly where you're doing, because you can look a whole lot easier when the lines get further out. So we are ready to sew this line. Okay, so I am sewing this line under number 4. So let's get going. I say the same things over and over, don't I? Let's get going. Let's head over to the sewing machine. Let's go sew this. I need a script writer. Is that where I want? I think so. Okay, so I just stitched this line under number 4, so let's turn this to the right, flip our paper back, and now I'm going to go and press this. Okay, so I just pressed that piece. I'm going to flip it over, take the other background piece, and I'm going to slide it to the back. And I am making sure that I'm at least 1/8 of an inch above this line that I'm going to sew, and it's way up here, so I think I'm good. So let's head on over to the sewing machine. See, I just said it again. Okay, so now I'm stitching this line under the second number 4. Okay, so now I'm going to take this number 4, turn it to the right. Again, flip my paper back. This is all very repetitive, which also makes it easier to learn. So these type of patterns, you know, that are just very repetitive like this, definitely help you to learn the paper piecing faster than other patterns. At least that's what I feel. Okay, so now I'm going to go and press that real quick. Okay, so now we have it pressed, and since we have just done both of the number 4s, we are now going to move on to number 5, which is our next color. And let me just get one or a couple of pieces of that. Okay, so I'm going to take the pretty side toward me, and then I'm going to slip it to the back. And the line I'm sewing is right under number 5, so I want to make sure, again, that I'm at least 1/8 of an inch above that, which I am well above it, so I am ready to sew. Okay, so we are going to sew the line under number 5, right there. Okay, we're going to take our number 5, turn it to the right. And I'll press. Okay, so we have that pressed. We're going to flip it over. Take our next piece. We're going to hold it right sides, or pretty side to you. You can say right side if you want. Kind of like pretty side. And again, I'm going to make sure that I'm at least 1/8 of an inch above the line that I'm going to sew under number 5. And I am definitely there. We are sewing this line under number 5. Okay, I'm going to take the number 5, turn it to my dominant side, which is the right. And I'm going to use my add 1/8 and trim. And press. Okay, so here it is pressed, and I'm going to flip it over, and we are now ready for our 2 number 6s. So what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to make you sit through every single piece that I'm going to sew and cut and press and all of this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get around the block, and then when I have like a couple rows left on the outside, I'll come back and we'll finish up together. All right, so here I am. I have finished all of these pieces going around, and we have 2 colors left. We have our purple, and then the purple with the words. Let me see which one goes first. I want to make sure I put them in the right order because I cut them and then, okay, so it's that one first and then the other one. So, okay, so I'm ready to go. And I am on the next round because these two background pieces are the last ones that I've sewed on. So now I'm going to flip it over. And those two were at number 18. Okay, so we had just sewed the line under number 18. And we are now going to sew the line under number 19. So when we place our piece, we want to make sure it's at least 1/8 of an inch above the line under number 19. So I'm going to take the fabric pretty side toward me, and I'm going to put it to the back. So you see, you're going to hold it like this. And with my fingers on the corner, see, you're getting so close to the top that it's very easy to say, okay, here's the line for number 19, and I just want to go just above that. So it's very easy to just pull it back and see that you are just fine. And once you have that in place, you are ready to sew. Okay, so again, I'm going to stitch the line directly under number 19. Okay, so we've just stitched this down, and that is right under number 19. So we want to turn 19 to the right. It's also really good that if you are seeing this side, this is what you're going to be trimming. So you know that that goes to this side. And of course, if you're left-handed, you would be trimming this way with your left hand. So that's what you're trimming. So you just make sure that you're in the right spot. Okay. And you just put your add 1/8 ruler right up against the seam. You just, oop, I just moved it. I moved it. No, don't do it. Where's my thing? Oh, there it is. Why does it? Now all of a sudden I like ran it over and it won't. Okay, here we go. What did I do? Oh, you guys, open your rotary cutter. Oh my gosh, that was embarrassing. Who saw that? Did anybody see that? Nobody saw that, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go press that. Okay, so I've just pressed that piece. So now I'm gonna add one here. And so I'm just going to cut my piece. All right, so I'm gonna hold it right side to me, AKA pretty side to me, and I'm going to pick it up, hold my fabric to the back, and there it looks. So again, I'm going to be sewing directly under the number 19. And that looks pretty good. So I am ready to sew that seam. Okay, so again, I'm going to stitch the line directly under number 19. Okay, we've just stitched that line. So I'm going to take my number 19, put it to the right. Do a little bit better with my find 1/8 ruler. And I'm gonna open up my rotary cutter. And I'll go press. Okay, so now I'm going to cut 2 pieces of background. I don't know what Jellybean is doing. He's crazy, yeah. Come on, get over there. Don't know why I'm worried. Okay, so so now we're going to be adding a background piece here and a background piece here. And those are number 20. So we're going to be sewing this line directly under number 20. And that is, I think that's the last background piece that we're going to be sewing. Yay, we're in the home stretch. Okay, so I'm going to hold this to the back. And I want to be at least 1/8 of an inch higher than the line under number 20. And I am definitely there, so I am ready to stitch. Okay, again, number 20, we are going to sew the line directly under number 20. Okay, just stitch that line. So I'm going to put number 20 to the right and fold over. Trim. And now I'm going to go press. Okay, so I just pressed this over, and now we're going to add this piece. I'm going to sew the line directly under number 20 again. And that line is here. And you can see that my fabric is definitely 1/8 of an inch higher. Okay, again, the line under number 20 is what we're stitching. Okay, so I just stitched down this line, so I'm going to flip that over and fold over at number 20. And trim. And now I'm going to press. Okay, now we're ready for the last two pieces that we are going to sew on, which are these strips here. And I'm going to take the first one, I'm going to hold it pretty side to me, pick up the your piece, and we're going to be sewing down. Now on this one here, okay, we're going to be under number 21, and I did that one wrong, but that's okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to go to this corner and stop. Okay, so in this particular one, we don't want to go past the line that we stitched here because we're trying to close it up. So I think Jim is playing with Scout. I don't know. But anyway, so you're gonna like be stopping there instead of going all the way to the end. Okay. All right, so let's pick this up, and I'm gonna double check again to make sure I'm in the right spot. I think I want to go a little bit higher just to be on the safe side, and that's why I cut a little bit extra anyway. Okay, so now we're ready to stitch. Okay, so if you look at the line under number 21, that's the one we are going to be stitching. We are going to start right here. Instead of going all the way to the end like we normally do, we are going to start here, which is where we ended the last background piece. And then we're going to stitch all the way across and then stop here where we ended this background piece. Because if you keep going, we're trying to make it into a square is what we're trying to do. And since these are the last pieces, that's what you want to do. You want to end it here instead of continuing on, okay? Okay, so we just stitched here. Going to flip it over, fold this back under number 21, which is what we just stitched, and then I'm going to trim. And I'll press it. Okay, so I have just pressed that one. I'm going to take this last piece, hold the pretty side toward me, pick up my project, And we are also going to be stitching under number 21. So I want to go at least 1/8 of an inch higher than that. And we are ready to sew. Okay, peeps, this is the last stitch that we are going to have to sew on this block. I'm so excited, and I really like how it turned out. So again, we are stitching under number 21, and we are going to stop at this line here and not go all the way across, and we're going to also start here instead of over at the beginning, which we would normally do. But like I said, we are making this into a square, and that's why we are closing it off. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so we just stitched this. I'm going to flip it over and fold it number 21. And set our at 1/8 and trim. And let me press. Okay, so here we are with the final project. This is again the courthouse step, and I am quite pleased with it. Now that it's finished, I do sort of wish I had put something in the middle there, maybe even just that pink. So if you haven't started yet and you're considering doing something like this, maybe think about that. If you have something going about like I do, maybe you want to put something there. I don't hate it. I just think that it would probably look better if I had that little pop of color in the middle. Or, you know, instead of it being color all the way across, it's just background all the way across. So depends on what you like, but it does look lovely. I'm so happy with it, and I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as me. I just love these projects. I think they're coming out really great, and I'm checking out all the ones that are hashtagged on Instagram, and I think everyone's doing an awesome job. Hope you're having a great time. Can't wait to see more, and I will see you guys next week.